Okay, you guys, so I have all of the things that we're going to need today to make our adorable little Hello Fall wall hanging for this wonderful season. This is my very favorite season of the year, and I just love making this cute little dog and cat design with the autumn leaves floating around in the wind. You're gonna need a total of 12 colors, okay? So this is just a quick scan of the colors, but you guys also should have your printout with you, okay? This gives you that key that will show you exactly which colors that you're gonna need. So I'm using this as my peach tone. I've got a brown, which is this tone right here. I have my dark brown. I have my forest green. I have my light green right here. I've got my navy blue. I ended up getting this sort of country blue tone because I thought it looked good with the tones that I have here. But whatever navy blue tone you have, that's gonna be the one you have there. My pumpkin orange, which is gonna be this darker tone. And then I have regular orange, which is the lighter tone. Then I've got red, and I only need small bits because it's for the nose of the cat. So small bits of pink and small bits of black because that's really just for a few of the facial details. And then of course white, and I've got this sort of mine is an off-white tone, but again, it went well with the tones that I have here. Okay, so those are your colors. So you can go ahead and get those out of the way. Get your fresh surface here. You should have some scissors. You should also have your 3.5 millimeter crochet hook as well. And then aside from your key, you should have your chart here, which is going to be what we're working on. So when we first start our chain, we're going to chain what we need, okay? And then we're going to be working this direction, and it's going to go like a snake. So we're going this way, okay? So you can see on the outside the numbers here, which will correlate with which row we're working on. And then we're gonna start in this 1 by 1 square when we're working into our chain, okay? Go ahead and have that off to the side. The last thing you should have is the actual pattern itself. So this just counts the boxes for you and also tells you which direction that you're gonna be going. So just to show you the correlation here for row 1, we're looking at L, which is our leafy kind of green tone there, or light green. We're doing 20 boxes, and it's going that direction because we've made our chain. We've made our chain, and now we're working back that direction, okay? So it's a quick reference in case you're confused, oh, which row am I on or something like that. This shows you which direction you're going on the piece itself, okay? So when you're looking at it from the right side. Now with tapestry crochet, there is a right side and a wrong side. The wrong side is where we're gonna do our color jumps. So that's the side that will face against the wall. You won't see it anyway, so it's not a big deal. But you just wanna make sure you always keep an eye on which side is the right side, and we'll be keeping our little ends and bits to the back so that we don't see them, okay? All right, I think we're ready to get started. Let's get crocheting, shall we? So it's going to be nice and easy for these first 2 rows. As you can see, we're just doing completely green grass here. So there's no color changes in these first 2 rows. What we need to do is get our color here, get our light green. Okay, get everything pushed off to the side so you've got some space. And we are going to start with a chain, okay? So get your crochet hook. I'm just going to keep the pattern here so that we have that as a reference. So you're going to wrap around your fingers and take your tail and tuck it between the little oval that you've got here. Now holding the tail and the working yarn, we're going to just pull that loop. That gives us our slip knot, and we're going to put that on our hook. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 20 because we have 20 stitches, okay? So we're just yarning over and pulling through. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now 10 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, okay? So there's 20 chain right there. So as you can see, this is going to be a little wall hanging, and it's going to be really cute, you guys. Now that we've done our 20, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do one more, because we need 20 squares, okay? And you usually work into the second chain from your hook, so you don't want to end up with 19. So we're doing that one extra chain so that we can then work into the second chain from our hook, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and go in through the V and yarn over from the back, pull forward a loop. That's 2 on your hook, yarn over and pull through, okay? There's 1 single crochet. We're going to do that all the way across our work as we continue row 1. I'll meet you at the end and we will turn our work. So we've reached the end, and it's okay if it's curling, it won't be for long. Double check and count your chain here, okay? So the top braid, you want to make sure you still have 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, just so that we know we've started out with the right amount. We didn't skip any, we're good to go. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, now we're on the wrong side of your work. And just to show you on our chart here, we've just done this row. So now we've flipped around. Now we're on the even side, which is going to be the wrong side of our work, okay? And we're going to go back this direction, okay? All you did is chained 1 and turned. Now you go ahead and work a single crochet into each of the prior rows, single crochets. So you're just going to have 20 at the end. You're always going to have 20 at the end, but you're going to have it all with this solid green tone. And you won't need the green for a while, so you'll just drop that to the back because, as I said, we will jump the color later. There is a little bit of green that's back behind the dog, but that's not until you get to row 7, so we won't need it for just a little bit here. So we can just set it off to the side. The other option would then be to cut the end and then pick up a new tail if you didn't want to jump like that. But that is more ends to tie in, so that's your personal preference. I am going to go ahead and jump because I want as little ends to tie in as possible. That way it doesn't take as long. Because tying ends in, if you aren't familiar, is one of those things that you either really like or you really don't. I am on the latter. All right, so that's our two rows, excuse me. That's the grass. So the grass is done. As I said, we're going to be letting this one go because we need to get our next color. Okay, so on row 3, you're starting off with X. X stands for black. So find your black that you have. I've got my little bit here. So find your black. You're going to go ahead and chain 1 with your black, okay? If I can get the hook working with me here. All right. So I just slipped it onto here. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn my work, okay? Now I'm going to do just one box right now, so 1 single crochet. And I need to switch colors already, okay, because we're only doing the 1 square in black. You'll notice right here that we're going to be switching to white, okay? So it's going to be black, white, black, white. So we're going to need our white next. So grab your white. Got mine right here. So we do need to switch to white, and we are currently on the right side of our work, okay? So if you're looking at your chart, this is important, you guys. If you're looking at your chart, we're on row 3 here, okay? So the odd side is our right side. So whenever we're on a row that is an odd number, then we're on the front facing. This is how it's going to look from the front, okay? So you want to make sure that any of your tails that you're going to have are going to be on the back side of the work, not on your front side. So you need your white. So let's go ahead and pick up your white and finish this one off, giving us that 1 black square. Now we're switching to white. Make sure all your tails are going to the back because we are on the right side of the work. So you want to make sure any tails are on the back side, okay? So go ahead and now go in and do a single crochet, but don't finish it because you need to switch back to black. So drop your white, pick up your black from the back and finish that square. Okay, now you've finished the white, you're going and doing a black one. Okay, so you're going in, yarning over from the back, pull forward a loop, drop your black, switch back over to your white, making sure you're grabbing the working yarn and not the tail, and then finish that one off with white. Okay, now you're going to do a square of white. Again, not finishing off, we're just going to get the 2 loops on the hook. Okay, because what we're going to do now is we're switching over to N, which if you look at your color wheel here, your color chart, is your navy blue. So we need to grab our blue. Here's my blue. Again, keeping all the tails to the back, you're going to grab your blue and finish that one off with blue. Okay, drop your tail to the back. Now you're going to go ahead and do 2 squares of the blue. So the first square is as usual, you're just doing a full single crochet. And the next square you're going to stop after you've got 2 loops on your hook. You're going to switch back over to white. Okay, so you're going to grab and jump your color from the back. You're jumping it just a little bit, but make sure you're not pulling it too tight. If you pull too tight, you're going to end up with your piece bowing in different directions. So you don't want that. You want to lay it across, grabbing that tail and pulling it through. So now you've got your white on your hook. Now we're going to do 6 white squares. So let's start this is always going to be a single crochet. That's the only stitch you're doing on these tapestry ones here. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th one, you're going to again drop your tail to the back. Now we need to jump our navy blue, and things might start to get tangled, so if you need to, you can just sort of untangle them as you go so that you've got your yarn ready for you. Okay, so now I've got my blue. I'm going to lay it across so I can see. I want to keep enough slack here so that I'm not actually going to bow my work. Now I'm going to pull through. So now I got my blue. You can see that we've jumped the color in the back, and that's given us enough of a tension slack here so that we're not bowing anything. With the blue, we're going to just do 2 squares. So here's 1 as usual. On the second one, we are switching back over to white. So drop your tail to the back, pick up your white, and finish off that square. Okay, with white, we're just going to do 1. We're going to again go back to that white, black, white, black, white, black pattern because we're doing the toes of the dog. So we're going to start with the white, not pulling through the last one. We got to jump our black. Okay, so again, you don't want it to bow. You want to give yourself enough looseness in the tension on the back so that you are not bowing your work. If you would prefer, you can have a second piece of black going, and that way you're not crossing over so much. That's entirely up to you. Now you're going to go into the next one, dropping the tail to the back, pulling up the white, yarning over and pulling through. Now we're going to do the white, drop the tail and bring up the black and pull through. Okay, so we're just going alternating back and forth between the black, drop the tail, pick up the white, and the white all the way to the end. Okay, dropping the white, picking up back up the black. Okay, and doing the last square in black. There. Okay, your piece should look like this. At this stage, that was row 3. So as you can see here, we went that direction. Now we're on row 4. We're starting with 2 black squares. So we're going to stay with the same color. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now you can, at whichever point it's easiest for you, you can untangle your guys, you can pin your bobbins and flip your work. Whatever is easiest for you. You can just do this once after each round or after each row. I'm so used to Amis, right? Okay, Now you can see we're on the wrong side of the work. So we want to keep the tails on the wrong side, so they're going to be facing towards you now. Whenever you're dropping a tail, you're not putting it to the back, you're going to put it to the front. So that's how you know, okay? So on the row 4 on the wrong side, we're going to do 2 black squares. So we're doing a single crochet in black, next square, single crochet, hold it, bring the yarn to the front. Okay, so you're crossing over. Now you're going to go ahead and pick up your white, finishing off the square in white. Now with your white, you're going to do 3 single crochets. Okay, so look and see which square you were in last. I know it's hard sometimes with the black yarn to see the stitches very well, but we're into this black stitch here, and we're going to go ahead and do 1. Going now into the white stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. There's 2. Now going again over the black stitch, we're doing our 3rd white stitch, and then we're going to switch back over to our navy color. Okay, so as you're going, if things start to get a little tangly, that's okay. Just go slow so you're not getting frustrated, okay? So we're going to bring the tail to the front, which is the wrong side of our work. Okay, we're going to yarn over with that navy tone and pull through. And now with the navy tone, you're going to go ahead and do 2 squares, switching back to white. So you're going to go over the white from the prior round. There's 1. Now you're going over the other blue from the prior round. This will be our 2nd one. We're going to bring the tail to the front. And I'm just going to jump my color over in front of me here, just that way it stays out of the way. I'm picking back up the white. Okay, so I'm dropping that blue tail, picking back up the white, yarning over and pulling through. So now I've got my white. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going into the next blue stitch here, and with white we're going to do 4 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and on that 4th one, bring the tail to the front now because we're on the wrong side. We need to pick back up our black. So we're going to go ahead and gently lay it across your work. Okay, and then yarn over with it and pull through, flattening it a little bit just to make sure that you're not bowing your work. With the black, we're going to just do 1 single crochet, switching back to white. So again, bring your tail to the front, picking up your white yarn that's just right next door here, and pull that one through the final loops. And now with the white, we're going to go into the white square from the prior round here, and we're going to go ahead and do 3 single crochets. So there's 1 into the next white stitch, there's 2. Oops, hang on, that didn't work for me. I hope it worked for you. There we go, there's the 2, and then we're going to go over that blue stitch here with the white, and on the 3rd one we're going to bring the tail to the front, picking up our tail of the blue. So see, this was my end. We don't want that one. We want the working yarn. So I'm going to grab this one, jumping it across, pulling that one through the final 2 loops of white. And now with the blue, we're going to go ahead and do 2 squares. Okay, so we're going to go into the blue square from the prior row. There's the 1. Now we're going to go over the white one. And on this 2nd one, we're going to bring the tail to the front, picking up the white. Okay, just like so. Yarn over and pull through. So as you can see from the front, we've got the bottom part of the mouth of the dog. These are his little collar bits, and then his little paws are going to be down there. Okay, so we've got the blue to the front. Now we're with our white. We're going to finish this row with 3 white stitches. Okay, so going over the black is 1, going over the white is 2, and going over the black is 3. There we go. Okay. So our front is looking great. Our back is looking like a back of work. Just make sure you're always kind of stretching it out a little bit so you make sure it stays nice and flat. And you can always block this afterwards as well. So that'll work too. Now, another suggestion I can do for you is that as you finish the row, you might want to mark it off just so that way you don't lose track of what row you're on. So now we're going to be on row 5. RS stands for the right side of your work, so you're going to be looking at the proper side, and then you're also going to be going in this direction towards the left, okay? Now, let's go ahead and we're going to need to do a chain 1 turn. As you can see in our next row, we need to start with black. And on that last white one, we're going to jump the black over, and that way we can do our chain 1 in black. As such, turn your work. So now you've got the right side facing you. Go ahead and starting with the black, we're going to do 2 single crochets or 2 squares here. So there's 1, and we're going to do the next one here. And on that next one, you're going to drop the tail again to the back because now we've got the right side facing us. So you want to keep the tails to the back this time. Okay. So drop your tail to the back, and then you're going to need your navy tone. So pick up your navy tone, making sure you're grabbing that working one, not the tail. All right. And finish, pull through. Now you've got your navy. With your navy, you're going to go ahead and do 2 squares. So here's 1. And the next one will be over the blue. And then don't finish that off because we need to switch to white. So I'm dropping my tail, and then I'm looking for my white tail, which is over here on the edge. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm jumping it back across here to where I'm at, yarning over, pulling forward or pulling through. Now with my white, I'm going to go ahead and do 4 stitches. So we're going over the blue, that's 1. And then in all of those white stitches, you're just going to do another white stitch above it as we build up this little dog's face. So this is our 4th one here. We're right next to the muzzle, so we're going to drop our white. We're going to pick up our black again, yarn over, and just pull through the white. Now with the black, we are just going to do 1 black square. So again, when you have 2 loops on your hook, drop it to the back and pick back up your white from the back and pull through. Okay, so we've built the muzzle up a little bit. Now with our white, we're going to go ahead, and we've got 5 squares to do. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one of the blue squares, we're going over that. That's our 5th one. And then before you finish, drop the tail to the back, and we're going to pick up our blue. So we need to find our blue tail here, or a blue working yarn, and we're going to jump it across and just finish that one off. Okay, making again sure that it's not bowing. Now with our blue, we're going to do 2 squares. So here's 1, and the next one's going to be over that white square. And before you finish, drop that tail to the back, pick up your black yarn, and jump it across. Okay, with the black, you're going to do 3 squares before switching to the white in the last stitch. So here's 1, 2, and 3. Let's not finish that one. We want to drop to the back, pick up our white yarn, and finish that one off. There we go. Okay, we're just going to do 1 square here, and I'm looking ahead. So I'm going to look ahead to the next row, row 6. It's also a white square, so I can go ahead and finish this one off. I can chain 1 in the white, and then we're going to turn our work. Okay, so we'll be now on the wrong side of the work. So we've got our white, we've chained 1 and turned. We can cross off row 5 because that's what we just finished. Now we're starting row 6 on the wrong side. We've got one white square, so we're just going over that white square there on the end. And then we're going to bring our tail to the front or the wrong side of our work. And now we're switching colors, okay? So we need to know what is O. Pick up your key, look at where O is. O is the lighter shade of orange, okay? So we're starting the cat. So get your light shade of orange, which is this for me. And bringing that, make sure the tail's to the front now because we're on our wrong side here. And finish it off with that color. Drop the tail to the front. Okay. We're gonna just hold them to the side like so. And you're gonna be going over the black now. We're just gonna do 3 orange squares and there are 3 black squares here. So we're just covering those over now with orange. 1, 2, and 3. Bringing the tail to the front. We're switching over to the blue, so pick up your blue, finish this one off, switching your color, and then do 1 blue stitch. Okay, and now we're switching to a new color. We need B, which is for us is brown, okay? So you remember you have your brown and then your dark brown, so you want your lighter brown. Okay, bringing the tail, make sure the tail stays to the front now, the wrong side, and pull through, and then gently just kind of pull, and you're going to make sure that blue stays to the front, okay? Drop your tail to the front, grab your working yarn, and with our new color, we're going to do 2 squares. So the first one is going to be over that blue collar from the prior round, and then over the white square there, okay? So this is our second one. We're going to be dropping it again towards the front. Now we need white, okay? So find your white. Mine's right here. I'm going to lay it over my other yarns, okay? And then finish this one off. Now with the white, we're going to do 4 squares. So we're just working our way over to the muzzle. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, bringing our tail to the front. Okay, we're going to need to switch now over to black. So I'm jumping across again and pulling that through. Now with the black, I'm going to do 1 square, bringing the tail to the front, picking up the white and finishing off that 1 square. Okay, again, making sure you keep an eye on your tension. You don't want this to be bowed. And then with the white now, we're going to go ahead and do 4 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on that 4th one, bring it to the front. We need to now go back to the brown. So find your brown. Okay, bring that across and then pull through. Okay, so just to keep an eye on your work here, this is going to be the start of the cat. These are the ears, or the face rather, of the dog, the side parts of the face. And we are going to keep on going. So with this brown tone, we just need to do 1, and then we're going to switch over to the blue. So we're going to do 1 square over the prior rose blues. I'm getting tongue-tied. Oh my gosh. Okay, bring that tail to the front. Now you need to pick up your blue. So my blue is over here. I'm going to lay it across and pull through. Just giving myself enough slack so it doesn't bow. Okay, so with the blue, we need to do 2 stitches, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and finish that one over one of the blacks. We're gonna start the second, bring the tail to the front, and we are switching over to white. So find where your white left off, which is right here, and finish that stitch off here, okay? Now we're gonna go over that black with our white. Okay, yarn over, and before we pull through, let's check the next row here. Okay, row 7, we actually need L, which is our light green. Okay, this is that little bit I was telling you about. So we're on row 7 here. So this is the one square of green we're going to do here, and then we'll start working on the collar again. Mine is just over here on this edge. So I'm just going to jump it up a little bit and finish those off, okay? Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And before I go too far, I'm going to untangle. Once I get to that last one, I need to bring the white to the back, or to the front rather, grab my green and finish pulling through, okay? That way we've got nothing on the front of the work and all the things are to the side, okay? See? Now chain 1 and turn, and take a minute if you need to untangle any of your bobbins that you have going or your little balls of yarn, so you've got everybody ready to go for the next row. I'm going to go ahead and cross off row 6. This just helps me to see where I'm at. So I finish row 6. Okay, we're now on row 7. We're starting with the green, and we're just doing 1 square of the green, dropping tail now to the back because we have our right side facing us. Pick up the navy and pull through. We're going to do 1 of the navy, drop the tail, picking up the brown, and pull through. Now we're going to do 4 browns, 1, 2, 3, and on that 4th one, we're switching to white. So drop your tail to the back, picking up your white yarn, finishing that one off, just as so. And with your white, you're going to just do 1 square, because now we're making the top part of the muzzle or the nose, okay? So we're going to drop the white. We need to pick up our black and pull that one through. With our black, we're now going to do 3 squares. So you're making the T part of the top part of the T of the nose. So we're doing 3 squares. And on that 3rd square, we're going to drop our tail and we're going to pick up our white. All right, now with white, we're just going to do 1 square, and then we're switching over to brown. So we're dropping our white, we're going to pick up our brown, gently pull through, and make sure that you're giving yourself some tension. So see, you can see the little face starting to form on our dog. All right, so now with the brown, we're going to do 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on that 4th one, we're dropping our tail, we're picking up our orange yarn, and we're going to pull through. Okay, with the orange, we're going to go over that blue stitch there, and we're going to do 2 stitches, switching to white. So on the 2nd stitch, grab your white again and jump it over. With the white, you're just going to do 1 stitch. What you're doing is creating the hook on the tail here of the cat. Drop the white, picking back up the orange from the back of your work, and pull through. With the orange, we're going to do 2 squares. So we're going to go over that orange square, and we're going to go over this white square. Now before we finish, let's look at our pattern here. And in the next row, row 8, we're starting with orange. So we can finish this square off, chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to start with 1 orange, okay? So 1 orange. Now before we keep going, I'm going to cross off my row. Okay, 1 orange, and we're switching over to white. So bring your tails now, go to the front, picking up your white, finishing off that square. With your white, we're going to do 2 squares. On our 2nd white here, we're going to drop the tail and we're going to pick up our blue and finish that one off. All right, making sure not to be too tight with it. You don't want it to bow. All right, now with the blue, we're going to go ahead and do 1 square, changing back over to the orange. So drop your blue in the front there, picking up your orange and finishing that one off. Now with the orange, we're gonna do 1 square, dropping the orange to the front. Now we're switching over to our brown and pulling through, okay? With the brown, we're gonna do 1 square. Now we're switching to white, bringing that to the front, picking up our white here, finishing it off. With white, we're doing 2 squares, so going into the next brown one here, going into the next brown one. This is part of the eye that we're making. We're gonna bring that to the front. All right, we're gonna do 2 brown squares, so make sure you're grabbing your brown tail here, jumping that across, finish that. We're gonna go 2 browns. One is over this brown from the prior row, then the other is over the white. Bring that tail to the front, picking back up your white, and pull through. With white, you're going to do 3, so you're covering the black basically. You're just covering over that nose or from the prior row here. Okay, so you can kind of see in the front there, then that was the nose. We're going to bring the white to the front. We're going to switch back over to brown. Okay, we're going to do 2, so we're going to go over that 1 white. There's 1. And 1 brown, okay? And over that second brown, we're gonna pick up the white and finish off, okay? With the white, we're gonna do 2 squares. So we're gonna do 2 covering over these 2 browns. There's 1, here's the second one, and then we're gonna bring that forward. This is the other eye, you guys. We're grabbing back the brown, pulling through, and then you're going to do 1 brown over that last brown here, okay? And then bring the tail to the front. We're going to switch over to N, which is navy, so we need to get our blue, and my blue is on the other side, so I'm going to jump it across and finish that one off, okay? Making sure I've left enough slack. Then we're going to do 1 blue over that prior blue. Bring the tail to the front, picking up the leafy green, and we're going to do 1 square of the green. And checking on our next one, we're going to start with green so we can finish this one off, you guys. We can go ahead and cross off row 8. We are now starting row 9. All right, chain 1 and turn our work and untangle. We've done our chain 1 and our turn. Now we're going to go back over the green here, and we're doing 2 squares. So we've got 1 and 2, drop our tail to the back, picking up our brown and pull through. With brown, we're going to do just 1 square. Okay, so with our brown, we just did 1. We're going to finish off with the white. All right, pull through. Now with white, we're going to do 1 square. This is the top part of the eye here. Dropping our tail, picking up our black, which you left behind here on the muzzle, and pulling that through. Now we're going to do the eye's pupil here. So that's just 1 square of black, and we're switching over back again to the brown and pull through. Okay, so we're doing brown now. We're going to go ahead and do 2 browns, switching over to the white. So dropping our tail, picking up our white, and pulling through. You can see his little eye taking shape right there. So cute. All right, with the white, we're going to go ahead and do 3 squares. 1, 2, and on that third one, we are, you guessed it, switching back to brown. So grab your brown and finish those off there. Now with brown, we're going over the brown stitch from the prior one here, and we're going to do 2 stitches. And after those, you're switching back over to white. Grab your white again, finish that off. We're going to do the other eye, so we're just going to do 1 stitch of white, drop the tail, pick up the black, pull through. Now do the next one in black. We're going to drop again to the back, picking up the brown and finishing that one off. With the brown, we're doing 2. Here's 1 There's 2. Now we're dropping the tail to the back and we're picking up the orange, okay? We're gonna keep building up our kitty cat. With the orange, we're gonna go over that blue there. We're gonna do 2 stitches. There's 1 in the blue and 1 over the white. Okay, now we're dropping to the back. We're picking up the white, so find your white and jump it. The white, you're going to do 1 square, switching back over to the orange and pulling through. 1 more orange square over the other orange from the prior row. And then look ahead, you're at the end, then row 10, we're going to start with orange. So we can just finish that one as usual. We'll chain 1 with the orange and turn, and then we're going to start the next row. So cross off row 9 if you're crossing off. We're starting row 10, which is on the wrong side, and we are going to continue on here. With orange, we're going to do 1 square, and we are now bringing tail to the front. We are switching over to the white, which is right here, and pull through. Now with the white, we're going to do 2 stitches. You're going 1 over that white stitch and 1 over the orange stitch there. Okay, bringing that now to the front. Now you need your dark brown, so we're going to add a different color. You will notice though that we are completely done with the navy, which means you can detach or cut that and leave a tail to sew in later, okay? So you don't need that one. It's always best to just clip them away as you're going, and that way you don't get overwhelmed. If there's a color you don't really need, then why not just snip it away, right? So we've done our 2 whites, we're bringing the tail to the front. Now we're switching to dark brown, so I'm going to get my dark brown here. Okay, leave the tail to the front and pull through. Okay, so I got my white tail to the front, I got my brown tail to the front, just like so. And now I've got my dark brown. So I'm working over this last orange one here with dark brown. Now we're building the ears of the dog. Okay, we're gonna bring that to the front. We are switching now over to regular brown, our lighter brown shade. Now with the nice light brown, we're actually getting to do 7 stitches, you guys. I think this is like the furthest we've gone with one color at this point. 1, 2, and go over the eye. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Bringing the tail to the front. We're switching over to white. So I need white is over here on the end. I'm going to finish that one off. With the white, I'm going to do 1 stitch. So it's going over the white stitch, one of the white stitches from the prior round. Okay, this is just going to get that pointed white piece right there in between the eyes of the dog. And we're going to switch back over to brown, the lighter tone brown. We're going to do 6 brown stitches now as we build up the face. So here's 2, here's 3, 4, 5, 6. And on that 6th one, we're going to bring it to the front. We need our dark brown again because we're now building the ear up on the other side. So grab your brown and jump it, laying it flat across your work, and then pull through. Okay, now we've got our nice dark brown here. We're going to do 1 stitch of dark brown in the green here. And then after that, we're actually going to be switching again. We're going to get some of the background color, you guys. This is exciting. We get our peach tone. So E stands for peach. So make sure you get your tail and you bring it to the front. Grab your peach tone and finish that one off. Drop your tail to the front. Okay, and you can hold them with your thumb. And then you're going to go into that last green stitch here on the edge. which, as you can guess, means that we've finished with the grass green. So we can also cut that one away. All right, and we are done with green completely until we get up to doing the pumpkins. Now let's check on our next one. We're gonna continue with the peach. So we can go ahead and finish this one off. Chain one and turn in the peach tone, and then we will do one more peach stitch on the next one, and we're going to be switching over to the dark brown, but I wanted to go ahead and cross off round 10 or row 10.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be let know every time I'm on live or ever I posted a new video. Thanks, guys.